It's another match night on BBC Radio Suffolk with Ipswich Town under the lights and Bristol City, the opponents at Portman Road. Let's join our commentary team ahead of kick-off. Former Blues captain Mick Mills is back alongside Brenna Woolley.
Win tonight and Ipswich Town goes second in the championship table. That's the primary story. Well, the subplot involves a certain Egyptian midfielder who's in the visitors' squad. The Blues' most successful captain and most influential player for years is back at Portman Road. Once, of course, described as Sam Morsey's kingdom, as he drove the club from its lowest point in over half a century to the Premier League via back-to-back promotions. 34-year-old who's only on the bench is now aiming to lift Bristol City into the top flight for the first time in what would be 46 years. Most likely through the playoffs, given they're currently 9 points off second place, and dogged by consistent inconsistency. Town, meanwhile, clearly have the realistic ambition of getting there via the more direct route, and a sixth straight league win here this evening would be another step in the right direction. Mick, let's start by talking about Sam Morsey as one former captain on another. How do you view his impact at Ipswich Town?
Well, I think it was fantastic. We were actually prepared for it in a certain way, because before he actually arrived, Paul Cook, on quite a number of occasions when something had gone wrong in a match, he referred to the fact that wouldn't happen if Sam was here. And it got me wondering who this Sam Morsey was, because I hadn't seen him play, I didn't know anything about him, and it was quite a thing for a manager to keep saying, you know. And anyway, he finally arrived and we saw exactly what he was about. You know, he was in the 3 years he was a brilliant captain, excellent on the pitch, constantly chatting away, constantly involved with everybody, and you know, you can get a better captain, really. I think he just continually rose to the occasion, and really was absolutely superb, and will always be remembered. He really will. But as far as tonight is concerned, the closer we got to this game and the more you had people talking about Sam playing against us, I just started to wonder whether the manager would go with it, because a lot of pressure on the player. You know, I know he could take the pressure of any game of football, but I just felt maybe he hadn't been at the club long enough to take care of this type of occasion.
The team news tonight: 4 changes from the weekend for Town. There's no Philogene through injury. Taylor, Eggerly and Hurst dropped to the bench. Income, Kayuste, Burns, Clark and Athon. Town have Walton in goal. The back four: Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Davis. Matthew Siwa plays alongside Kayuste. Then it's Burns, Nunez and Clark across the park in behind Athon. On the bench: Palmer, Hurst, Eggerly, Taylor, Greaves. Smoddick's a goal scorer at the weekend. Young, Johnson and McAteer is back. Morsey drops out for Bristol City, who incidentally are playing in white shirts, black shorts, white socks. Tonight their change kit. Sykes comes in for him with a little bit of a tweak. Vitek is their goalkeeper. They've got a back three of Tanner, Dickey and Atkinson. Then a 4 across the park of Sykes. Viner, who played wide right at the weekend, plays in the middle in place of Morsey. Randall and Borges. And then it's Twine and Mametti are the 2 number 10s in behind Riss. On the bench: Lumley, Pring, Knight, Bell, Morsey, Peakover, Earthy, Armstrong and Roberts. Decent squad, packed with championship experience. Bristol City, who start the night 9th in the table, 3 points off the playoff places in that really tight, congested area of the table, with the likes of Stoke and Wrexham, of course, Hull, Millwall, Preston, even up to Ipswich Town. You can throw a blanket over those clubs in terms of points, as Bristol City get the ball back to Vitek and his dark outfit off to our right. He had one option, that was to clout it forward, as his box was heavily populated in front of him. Matthew Siwa wins his first challenge between the legs of Riss, who couldn't really get the ball under control. The former Preston player who's done well in his first season, the Dane. 7 goals for him. In fact, that front three have got 23 goals this season. A useful combination. Twine, especially from set pieces that I mentioned earlier on. Mametti is a tricky customer and Riss is a target man. O'Shea goes long, and that's an easy one for Vitek to deal with, the 22-year-old goalkeeper on loan from Manchester United. Speaking to a lifelong Bristol City fan on the Blue Hour last night, he thinks Vitek's the best goalkeeper that Bristol City have had in all those years of watching them. So Hopefully I've cursed him with that bit of praise, but he's had a very good season. Vitek out to the left-hand side. That's a good ball, finding Borges. Now it's Mehmeti, heavily linked with Ipswich Town in the last 24 hours. Mehmeti, so a bit of an audition for the number 11. We'll be keeping a close eye on his performance tonight. Bristol City with a bit of possession at the back as Town closed down. Burns underneath us, the Ipswich right, going after Atkinson. Dickey it is, the captain, who spins and finds Vitek. Vitek rolls it into midfield, and Randall, little layoff back to the edge of the Bristol City area. There's any tempo about this game earlier on. Bristol City have it in midfield. Mehmeti is Rob. Clark sends it all the way back to Walton on the edge of the Ipswich Town box off to our left.
Yeah, I'm just trying to really sort of weigh up exactly what system they're playing. It's interesting, the 21, Borges, is he going to pick Wes Burns up, or is he worried about Darnell Furling? He's the interesting one at the moment. He's policing Wes Burns, but he's going into a forward position now, so maybe it's the back three.
Gerhard Struber, as he's red Bristol City. He's on brand with his red Bristol City merchandise pom-pom hat on. Down below us, the Austrian, very popular figure in the southwest. Had a spell at Barnsley. He's been in the Red Bull group with Salzburg and New York Bulls in the past. Well regarded in the coaching fraternity. Burns against his former club, of course. It's where it all started from at Ashton Gate many moons ago. Wes Burns. Here is Furlong. Furlong puts the ball over the top for Burns to chase. Headed away from the back by the big number 5, Atkinson. Maybe a threat from set pieces. He's got 3 goals this season, Rob Atkinson. Ball's out underneath us. Quickly thrown in by Furlong towards Athon, just inside the Bristol City area. Wins the first corner kick of the game off of the chest of Dickey.
Yeah, and already, I mean, we're only just going into the game, and I just wonder if they're going to get this set up right, Bristol City down their left-hand side, because Burns is threatening to go over the top. Nunes already has gone over the top and won a corner. They look vulnerable down this side.
Davis with a left-footed corner kick from by the tunnel off to our right-hand side. It's 0-0 in the 4th minute of this championship encounter. It's towards the far post. It could have swung in, had to be tipped over the top by Vitek. Corner kick now over on the far side underneath the big screen next to the Bristol City fans, which Nunez has shown an interest in after a little word from his captain Dara O'Shea. Yeah, Nunez being greeted by the far right-hand corner of the Sir Alf Ramsey stand. Very popular player in his relatively short time at Ipswich Town so far, the Chilean. Nunez on his first corner kick, Ipswich Town's second of this match. In it, Ben's right-footed. It was Kipre who went for it on the stretch. It's come off of Atkinson.
Yeah, they can't deal with us at the moment. We've got our 3rd corner kick now. We start with 3 in the 6-yard box and 3 outside the 6-yard box, and then just before the ball is played, there's an incredible amount of interchange, so it's confusing Bristol at the moment.
3rd corner kick in quick succession for Ipswich Town, who've won their last 6 games here in all competitions. 4.5 minutes gone. Davis plants it in towards the far post, punched up by Vitek. Ball might still be alive now. He catches it. Contested a couple of times, the goalkeeper.
Well, they'll be pleased that that's the end of that, and the goalkeeper's got the ball comfortably in his hands, you know, because you don't want to be doing that much defending so early in a game.
Long kick from Vitek. You don't see that too much in the modern game. It's bounced beyond Kipre, then he brings it down into midfield. That's risky. Paul from Kipre. He's giving the ball away. Mehmeti to the overlapping player on the left, Borges. In comes his cross, headed away from the penalty spot by Cayuste. Nunez challenges but loses out to number 14, Viner, who's really a centre half, who's been playing a bit of wing back this season. Now he's in midfield, Zach Viner. Wanted by Wrexham in the summer. He is a decent player, Viner. Like Mehmeti out of contract this coming summer. It's bound to be interest in him. Just trying to shake off Nunez at the moment. Cleared away by O'Shea. Poor touch from Randall. Athon to the left-hand side. Clark should be won by the sliding Tanner. Twine plays the ball back to Dickey, the middle of the 3 at the back. Here is Scott Twine playing it over the top for Mehmeti to chase. Walton's going to gather it on the edge of his penalty area, still 0-0.
Yeah, that was a nice disguised ball. It looked as if they were just going to progress the ball down the right touchline, and then all of a sudden he just put his foot round the ball and played one through the middle to a couple of forward running Bristol City players, and it did just worry Walton slightly.
6 minutes gone on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Busy period for Ipswich Town, who are in action at Sheffield United 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Full match commentary from 2 till 6 on matchday. Alex Matthew will be alongside me in South Yorkshire for that one. It'll be a lot tougher for Town against a Chris Wilder Blade side than it was here when they walloped them 5-0 early on in the season. Philogene hat-trick and so on. Obviously Philogene has to be a doubt for that game. No Chuba Akpom either. Kieran McKenna ruled him out of the next 2 when I spoke to him after Blackburn at the weekend. Good to see McAteer back tonight though. Given away by Bristol City, but the touch from Davis was straight at Twine. Now Sykes on the right hand side plays a crossfield ball to Borges inside the Ipswich Town area, touches it down really well for Mehmeti, who shoots, blocked away by O'Shea. Might have been going just wide, but it was a decent connection from the visitors, number 11.
Yeah, the crossfield ball to Borges was brilliant.
Here is Viner. They looked a decent side at Ashton Gate, Bristol City, and have settled pretty well here at Portman Road. Lumped forward by Dickey, headed down by Davis, collected almost by Riss. O'Shea has to hook it off the edge of his area, which he's done. Good little nod down from Athon, that was excellent from the Spaniard. The touch from Clark left a lot to be desired, and the white shirts of Bristol City zip it back to their goalkeeper Vitek. Vitek goes out towards Atkinson. Now back with Vitek inside his penalty area. Happy enough to go long the goalkeeper once more. Davis wins the header before Sykes. Here is Kiyuste. First time he's had the ball at his feet in midfield. Turns away from Randall. Excellent play. Slick as ever from the Swede. Here is Clark testing Bristol City for the first time. Cuts inside the area, shoots and scores! Really, really good goal that from Ipswich Town after 8 minutes of this championship game. Terrific play in midfield from Kiyuste to find Jack Clark, and he hit it low into the corner of the net for his 9th of the season.
Well, you just wonder whether there's a massive great magnet in the corner of that goal at the south stand end. You know, that's exactly the same corner that Philogene normally cuts inside and scores his goals. Philogene's not here tonight. Jack Clark does exactly the same. He doesn't get the height on the ball that Philogene does, but he gets the direction, and the accuracy is absolutely spot on. He just literally just steps inside his marker, just a couple of touches, and a very comfortable slot into that far corner.
Nice goal from this former Sunderland player. Yet 9 for the season now for him too. It's a tremendous return. 19 goals from the 2 wide players. Really have stepped up to the metal this season for Ipswich Town. Another relatively early goal. They were 2-0 up after 12 minutes on Saturday. They got the breakthrough after 9 of this particular fixture.
Yeah, they're making a habit of these early goals, and you know, you just wonder what's going to happen if they don't get one on an occasion, because they are getting used to it, and it certainly, without question, makes a game of football a lot easier.
Town's 27th game of the season this, looking for their 14th win. 8 draws as well, just the 5 defeats for Ipswich Town. Viner's done very well for Bristol City on the left-hand side. There is Mehmeti. It's played off the chest of Burns by Borges down below us. And it's out for a throw-in to Bristol City, who heading into this game had lost 15 of their last 16 away games against relegated sides down from the Premier League. And they're behind already in this one. Of course, Kieran McKenna has that terrific midweek record with Ipswich Town. Only ever lost 1 midweek league game in charge of Town. One against Charlton earlier on this season in the EFL, that is, as Kipre guides the ball back to Christian Walton. I saw Kipre having a reunion with Sam Morsey earlier on. The two of them have been close friends since their time at Wigan earlier on in their careers. Obviously didn't play here together, as the ball has turned back to Vitek. Nothing he could do about that only goal so far. Vitek into midfield, and Viner gives it to Mehmeti in a bit of space. Bristol City don't look a bad side on halfway. Kiyuste upends Twine. free kick to Bristol City on halfway. Viner takes it quickly to Borges on his chest. Lovely chest trap inside the Ipswich area, but flag's gone up against him. Unlucky from Bristol City's perspective there.
Yeah, he's definitely a wing-back that really wants to get on with the attacking side. He's completely really trying to ignore Wes Burns, who it's going to be interesting if he vacates too much. He was successful with that run. It was a good run, but if he does it too often and Wes Burns is cute enough, he could be very dangerous.
Good ball forward to Mehmeti. Mehmeti controls it, not well enough. Walton was out there, but they're playing some nice stuff, Bristol City, asking a few questions of Ipswich Town. It was 1-1 when these two sides met at Ashton Gate earlier on this season. Jack Clark actually scored in that game, the equaliser for Town from the penalty spot. 3-2, and Bristol City lost here in Ipswich Town's promotion season. That was a good game. Here is Clark, real spring in his step. Played the majority of Saturday's game, really. Gets it to fellow wide player Burns, who plays it off Borges, and that's a throw to Ipswich outside the Bristol area.
Yeah, he was just trying to be really direct and positive there, Wes Burns. As soon as the ball came to him, he actually tried to play it beyond the marker and just do him for pace, but unfortunately he hit the player, but he got a throw in from it. But he's looking very positive, Wes.
Kieran McKenna passing on a lot of information to Azomatu Siwa, while Darnell Furlong winds up this long throw. Kieran's obviously spotted something that needs a little tweak in midfield. Town lead 1-0. 12.5 minutes gone. Clark with a goal. Here comes Furlong with a long flat throw. It's a dangerous one, headed away well by Bristol City. Nunez cushions it back to Matasiwa. As per usual, the deepest lying outfield player for Town. Nunez clips the ball up to the edge of the Bristol City box, headed away. Hathon battles for it and does well. Good work from the Spaniard. Davis, clever ball forward to Clark. That's excellent from the fullback. Good running from Clark. Tries to squeeze his cross in, deflected away by one of the Bristol City defenders, and they have it at right back. It's passed forward by Tanner. Tanner in front of the travelling supporters, plays the ball along the edge of his 18-yard area. There's a slip from Dickey, which could have been problematic. Clark was close to him. Sykes, infield to Randall. Randall tries to switch a play, but it's easily intercepted by Furlong. Furlong to Burns. Nunez is near him. Burns has got his head down, running down the wing. Excellent from Burns. In comes the low cross. Again, shown that he hasn't lost any of his pace, Wes Burns. We'll just see how Bristol City get on in the defensive third. They clear up to halfway. O'Shea knocks it out for Town, and 1-0 here, Graham.
Coventry goal at home to Millwall, 1-0 there.
It's going to be an interesting fixture tonight. Also Preston Hull, that's a big one in terms of the playoff chase. O'Shea to Kipre with his gloves on at the back for Ipswich Town, Saturday's man of the match. As now Davis bypasses Kipre to give O'Shea the ball once again. Jack Clark scored for Town, if you're joining us 14 minutes into this game. Good goal. Very Jaden Philogene in terms of the finish. Up towards the halfway, high from Viner. Twine is held back slightly by Kiyuste, then headed over halfway by Kipre. Nunez just crowded out by three white shirts. Viner gives the ball to Borges.
They play the ball nice and sharply, that's for sure. They're not a slow passing team, they're a quick passing team, and that will keep us on our toes.
Yeah, I've liked them so far, Bristol City, a bit like Ipswich Town. When I spoke to the Robins fan last night on the programme, he's saying that playing against footballing sides does suit them. Randall, who's had a good first season. We've seen him before, Adam Randall, in the past in his time at Plymouth. Moved from Plymouth to Bristol City last summer. He's fitted in well to Gerhard Struber's midfield. There is Dickey. Like this man Atkinson, will be a threat from set pieces. Mehmeti dropping off the front line, wants to get involved down this left-hand side. Checks in field. Burns has gone with them and forced him to go back to Atkinson. Dickey, the captain, to Tanner. They've worked across their back three now to the far side. Sykes, the right wing back. Bristol City, all their passing is inside their half. Now Dickey goes long. Furlong heads it away for Burns. Burns goes to ground against Mehmeti, and that's a free kick to Ipswich Town.
Yeah, this is a good game at the moment, because Town have done well to get themselves in front and sort of get a bit of a control of the game, but it hasn't affected Bristol too much.
There is Dara O'Shea on the edge of his penalty area. Gives the ball to Furlong. Furlong whizzes it up to Athon. Athon with a Touch to Burns. The referee's blown his whistle. It's a free kick to Bristol City on the halfway line. Viner gives it back to Dickey, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. We've gone through the first quarter of an hour of this match under the lights at Portman Road. Sam Morsey on the bench for Bristol City, if you're just joining us. Town have made 4 changes. One of them, Jack Clark, has got the opening goal. Kiyuste's also into the team. Burns and Athon. Clark into the middle to Nunez, has a chance to take it on himself, might get support from Athon inside the area. Nunez has it in the box, now wide left, out of it. He gives it back to Kiyuste, controls the ball away from Twine. Bristol City have got men now back behind the ball. Still a threat from Ipswich as Burns got his feet in a muddle, trying to backheel to Furlong, and then he hauls down Mehmeti. Free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, he was 2 against 1 there, whereas he really should have just decided, no, it's not my turn. Give the ball to Darnell Furlong and see what he can do.
Town unbeaten in their last 4 games against Bristol City. Kind of won 2 of their last 3 meetings here. Now they lead this one by 1-0. Fixture which always brings back memories of a 6-0 win for Ipswich Town. Now, frighteningly, 19 years ago, the John Walters hat-trick. As Kipre gives the ball to Nunez on the centre spot. Now to Athon, nice layoff to Nunez. This is promising from Ipswich Town. Nunez, poor pass towards Burns.
Yeah, he should have
played, to go to ground.
Just play to feet there, not in front of him, because that favoured the fullback.
Furlong throws the ball back to Dara O'Shea. Now Christian Walton, who'll have been delighted with the number of clean sheets that Ipswich Town have kept here recently. Conceded just 3 goals in the last 8 on this ground. Ipswich Town 5 clean sheets. Here come Ipswich again. It's the goal scorer Clark once more on his right foot, deflected. It loops up in the air and is caught by Vitek. Had it not taken a deflection, that was certainly going to test the visiting goalkeeper.
Yeah, again, it's that sort of left-hand side where, you know, we had a situation at Coventry where both our left-sided players were out of the team. The 2 that came in played exceptionally well. Tonight we've got 1 out of the team, and straight away Jack Clark and Leif Davis have picked up a lovely little partnership. That was Leif Davis going on.
Oh, terrible from Kipre. A chance for Riss to make it 1-1. What an opportunity! Saved by Walton. Wow, a very rare error from Cedric Kipre, who's been phenomenal this season, but that could so easily have cost Ipswich Town a goal.
Yeah, without question. Sometimes you think you've got a chance to talk and talk for some time because you've got complete control of the ball, but he's really, it's woefully given away. Great chance.
Shocking, wasn't it? So bad from him, but well done, Christian Walton. Got his mate out of a hole. Kipre has been very grateful, and he immediately thanked Christian Walton. Corner kick to Bristol City. The danger is still there. Touched away by Walton. And then there's a man brought down inside the Ipswich Town area. Nothing given. Town on the break. Nunez runs into trouble. The ball runs to Kiyuste. Oh, the referee could have played an advantage there. That's why the crowd have got the hump.
Oh, an advantage. It was an amazing advantage,
wasn't it?
Have been allowed to go. We had somebody making good headway, in complete control of the ball. That was Kiyuste, and beyond him with Athon in a great position slightly down the left-hand side. He would have just drawn the defender, rolled it forward, 1-1 on the goalkeeper. Poor referee.
Ooh, shout for Bristol City penalty. It's not what keep seeing a few replays of. Clark, one of their players edge of the area. That's what Gerhard Struber's got worked up about down below us. Still the protests. It's Sykes speaking to the referee about that incident that Ipswich Town then broke away with the ball. But yeah, to have given Ipswich Town a free kick when they really were in a great position to go through and maybe score a second. Controversial moment here anyway. Play continues. Vitek has the ball. 20 minutes to go. Sam Morsey's getting a standing ovation from the home crowd. That's what the clapping is now, because he's gone off for his first jog towards the North Stand, and he's applauding back as well. Lovely to see. Play continues. Bristol City have the ball in midfield. Foul on Kiyuste.
No, not for me. That was clever play. Just get your body between opponent and ball, and then he can't play the ball. He'll play the opponent, so not a foul.
Kiyuste, excellent in midfield up to Nunez, really good again from Jens Kiyuste. Now out to the right and Burns. What can Ipswich Town do from this position? It's a good game of football, this, between two good sides. Kiyuste has the ball, runners in front of him, gives it back to Furlong on this near side. Burns it is who zips it back to O'Shea. O'Shea sweeps it away from Riss, who had that good chance after Kipre's error. Matusiwa got the ball rather jammed between his feet on the centre spot. Approaching the midway point of this first half on BBC Radio Suffolk. Furlong's chopped down by Mehmeti. Pleading his innocence towards the referee, the Albanian striker. Got 12 goals last season, the top goal scorer, on 9 this time around. Also creates Anis Mehmeti, a player who actually was in Norwich City's academy very early on in his career, kind of made his name at Wickham, and I think he will be sought after this summer if he does decide to leave Ashton Gate when his contract expires. A little break in play because Viner is down getting some treatment to his right ankle by the looks of things. Now Kieran McKenna's put his arm round Marcelino Nunez down below us. Obviously something else he wants to sort out in midfield. Let's head back to Graham at 1-0 Town.
Coventry still ahead at home to Millwall. Derby lead 1-0 at Charlton. Swansea have gone in front at home to Blackburn, and Norwich have the lead at West Brom, whose awful form looks like it might be continuing tonight.
Yeah, Norwich will be out of the bottom 3 with a win tonight for possibly, I think, the first time this season. Interesting that Liam Manning has got the Huddersfield Town job today. A real opportunity for him, replacing another former Ipswich Town man, Lee Grant, who was sacked after the weekend. So somebody else for Cameron Humphreys to play under this season. Probably get on well with Liam, I would have thought. Zach Viner, back to matters in hand, is up on his feet. He's going to be all right to continue by the sounds of things. And now Kieran spent a fair bit of time with all 3 midfielders. It was Matusiwa at the previous break, and then Nunez and Kiyuste have both been getting instructions from the Ipswich Town boss as Nunez stands over this long-range free kick. The referee, incidentally, tonight, Dean Whitestone, who's here for the 0-0 against Wrexham in November. He's in charge. Nunez with a free kick, no more than maybe 18 yards maximum inside the Ipswich Town half on this near side, the right. Looking off to our right-hand side, pings the yellow ball diagonally towards O'Shea, who takes it on his chest and loops it towards the far post, but beyond the far post. Goal kick.
Oh, he did well to he just backpedaled into a bit of a space there, and the ball was played sort of diagonally to him. Puts him in a good position, and then really what he did in the end just was a waste of time. You know, it was neither a shot, wasn't a cross, it wasn't anything. It was just a waste of a good ball in a good position.
Haven't scored in either of their last 2 away games, Bristol City. And when you look at where they have won this season, all of their wins away from home have been against teams currently in the bottom 8 of the division. So this would be a real statement victory, a real step up from any of the teams they've already beaten on their travels. Nunez to Burns on this right-hand side, wants to take on Borges, probably had to go too far around, but now he strengths one it back. Excellent from Burns, good wing play. Pulls it back to Matusiwa, he touches it immediately to the right, and Furlong. Matusiwa is available to receive the ball. Square across the park, he goes to Cedric Kipre. Here's Jack Clark, the only goal scorer so far. There's a square to Kiyuste. Kipre once more. Clark on the far touchline, looks up, thought about playing it in right-footed, still has it. The wide player gives it back to Kipre. There is Clark once more. Ian Kipre playing their own little game. Kipre through a little gap to Matusiwa. This is nice play from Town. Yet to puncture Bristol City though, but working them from right to left. Now Burns down the Ipswich right, drops a shoulder, gets his cross deflected in off Borges. Corner kick, number 4 to Town.
Yeah, he's his old self, Wes Burns, isn't he? He's got this one way of playing. He loves to take the full back on. He loves to go down the outside, and he constantly is testing him out. He tests a full back out very early in the game, and then continues to do it throughout.
It is ridiculous to have come back after such a long time at 2B, back to absolutely, as you say, it's classic Wes Burns play we're seeing from him here. Just so long out of the game. Nunez with a corner kick for Ipswich Town. Attacking it was Kipre. He's appealed for a corner kick, but it's not going to be given. Goes straight out off of the Ipswich Town centre half by the looks of things. I don't know whether Sam Morsey might be about to come on, you know. I think he is. Well, he is. Here is the moment that all Ipswich Town fans have been talking about in the build-up to this game, looking forward to, since he made his move back to English football. And after 26 minutes of this match, Zach Viner is coming off, but it's all about the man coming on. Sam Morsey makes his Portman Road return, the captain who led Ipswich Town from League One to the Premier League, an incredible 4-year stint. He's back playing his football in Suffolk. Lovely moment for him and for these Ipswich Town fans. Well, his time on the bench didn't last too long, and he can now start his battle probably with Marcelino Nunez, which could be worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and obviously the player that replaced him, Viner, came off hobbling badly, so it's unbelievable he picks up an early injury, and it allows Sam to come on, and it forces the manager's hand, really.
Number 40 on his back, and yeah, he is most likely to be up against Nunez, as of course he was in the East Anglian derby. Here are a couple of years ago. Here are Bristol City trying to press inside the Ipswich Town half, looking for an equaliser in this game. Jack Clark with the only goal after 9 minutes. Forward drives Atkinson, the flick on from Borges goes all the way through to Christian Walton, who of course played with Morsey at Wigan earlier on in his career, as well as being part of that League One and Championship side. Davis up towards Athon. Athon lays it off well to Clark. Athon's going to try and get on the return ball. Nice play between the two. That was terrific. Athon's back on the ball. Good strong running from the striker down the left-hand side of the area. Wins a corner kick. Really good play from him.
Yeah, very good play by Athon, and that's the type of running that he gave Luke Wolfenden a lot of trouble up at Coventry. Once that channel vacates, and he's quite quick, he's not bad over a 40-yarder, and on that occasion he looked very promising.
Corner kick number 5 to Ipswich Town in this championship game. 28.5 minutes gone. Clark just having a word with Davis, who's taken this one from underneath the Bristol City fans. Clark and Nunez are lurking on the edge of the visitors' penalty area. Athon and Morsey having a bit of a shoving match on the penalty spot. In comes Davis's left-footed delivery, headed away by Sykes, nodded down by Clark of Ipswich to Nunez. Nunez sets himself, drills it into a huddle of bodies on the edge of the area, comes back out to Clark. Clark controls the ball. Morsey goes after him. Furlong gives it back to Nunez. Darnell Furlong on this right-hand side plays it forward to Kipre, who's still in the number 9 position inside the area. Kipre challenges O'Shea with a dangerous header looking towards the far post. Dangerous in the sense that it needed somebody else to nod it towards goal, which Athon wasn't able to do, just away from him.
Yeah, I think most people had vacated the box. We only had really Athon in there that could get anywhere near the ball, so it wasn't going to really create much danger.
Smoddock's another former Bristol City player, just settled back down on the bench down below us. I've done him the world of good, that first home goal for Ipswich Town at the weekend, and of course his first one of this season as well. He's a player who'll be desperately keen to just get a run of fitness, really. Big year for him potentially with the Ireland situation and the World Cup. Morsey gives it back to Atkinson. Now Dickey, back to Atkinson underneath us. Bristol City for the next 15 minutes plus of this first half, playing from right to left. O'Shea, strong header, turns into a really good pass for Burns. Burns back to Matusiwa, who's robbed of the ball by Borges. Mehmeti springing forward for Bristol City, puts it in behind for Riss, who gets goal side of O'Shea inside the Ipswich Town area. O'Shea takes it away from him, and as far as Borges, his attempted cross hits the chest of O'Shea. Now Town can break, not too many players forward. Burns swings it across the park excellently to Athon. He takes it in his stride, he's having a good game. Overlapping is Davis at a rate of knots. Athon still has the ball outside the area, tries to pick his spot. Oh, not too far away either. Great effort from him, just onto the roof of the net.
Yeah, it's a great position to get in. We get in that position so many times. That's probably the third. We have Philogene doing it, Clark doing it, on that occasion Athon doing it, but there is one common denominator every time. It's Leif Davis making that surging run down the outside.
He's done well, the Town striker tonight. Back to Graham.
Millwall a level at Coventry, 1-1.
Millwall aren't going to go away this season by the looks of things. Alex Neil continues to do a really good job. Inside his 6-yard area, Vitek fires the ball with little effort apparently downfield. Davis wins the header, picked up in midfield by Morsey, just ahead of Nunez, but he can't do anything with it. Furlong is there, he's closed down by Mehmeti, and the ball goes out of play, 40 throw to Ipswich. 13.5 minutes to go in this first half at Portman Road. Jack Clark, the only goal scorer so far after 9 minutes, in for the injured Philogene. Kipre to Davis, who McNeil's just mentioned a moment or so ago. Kipre gives the ball away. Mistake from Randall though, but he gets it back onto the centre spot to Atkinson. Here is Dickey. That was dangerous that time. Kipre's generosity at the back, but nonetheless it wasn't the best bit of work he's done. Mehmeti down the left-hand side, the ball's taken off of him by O'Shea. Ashley Young, one of the subs, scoops it up for Mehmeti, who allows Borges to take the throw-in. Borges has the ball above his head. And in the end he's left it for Riss. You don't see too many out-and-out strikers taking throw-ins, but he's obviously the specialist in the Bristol City camp. He's drying the yellow ball on his white shirt. Got these three big centre-halves up, Bristol City. Here comes Riss with a throw-in. Not the best throw-in, the flick on headers from Borges. Comes out as far as Morsey, who hits it, but it's up and over.
I think he would have been pleased to have that. That was just it was a decent throw-in. And then they sort of police the fringe of the box. They don't only want to win the first ball. Ideally, they want to win the first ball, but they know if they have a good fringe scene, a poor-headed ball coming out from a Ipswich defender can give somebody a shooting chance, and that gave Morsey that chance. He would have wanted to have just hit it a little bit better than that.
Christian Walton inside his penalty areas. Town still lead 1-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport every kick of every Ipswich Town game. As I say, we'll be at Bramall Lane on Saturday. Town's next home game, a rarity in the next few weeks, is against Preston here a week on Saturday. Furlong, infield to Nunez, good disguise on that ball. Back out to the right-hand side, offside against Burns. Shame as far as Town are concerned.
That was it.
Let's go back to Graham.
Yeah, another goal. Liam Miller for Hull at Preston, 1-0 to the away side.
Here is Radek Vitek getting ready with this free kick for Bristol City. The check inside his own penalty area. And all stand trying to create a bit of noise and atmosphere inside Portman Road. A little bit quiet at the moment. Out of play swings Vitek's kick. And it's a throw to Darnell Furlong. Kipre on the edge of the Ipswich Town area, closed down by Twine. Davis goes back to Kipre behind left back. Kipre hasn't got the option of Walton, that's been cut out. He's spun and cleared up towards the header of Morsey. Morsey's header is to Randall. Morsey is back on the ball, out to the right hand side, and Sykes. One change pre-kick-off with Sykes coming in for Morsey, but Sam's on the field after the injury to Viner. They've had their problems in midfield with injuries this season. Bristol City, Jason Knight, their main man in midfield, just back from being out of the team. Morsey loses the ball to Davis. Nunez then swings it back towards Furlong. Final 10 minutes of the half. Town trying to build from the back. Dara O'Shea's got the ball right in the centre of the Ipswich Town half of the field. Definitely a lull in proceedings at the moment. Not a great deal happening as Kipre plays the ball over halfway to Clark. Clark then lifts it infield to O'Shea. Now Furlong, closed down by Mehmeti, up towards Nunez. Nunez round the back for Burns. This is excellent play. Burns inside the area, pulls it back. Kayuste might come back to him. Oh, what a save! How on earth has that not gone in from Athon? That looked remarkable from Vitek. How on earth did he get that up over the bar? It looks certain to be 2-0.
Yeah, I just got to figure it is a good save by the goalkeeper, but it is also a terrible miss by the Town player as well. Wes Burns, brilliant, positive as normal, creates the chance. You've got to put that in really, but if you don't hit it right and the goalkeeper does that type of thing.
Oh my goodness me, that is one of the best saves you'll see.
But why has he gone back towards the goalkeeper? He's got half a goal right next to him.
That was astonishing from Vitek. Yes, you're absolutely right. A striker in that position should have scored, but my word. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. A player goes down in the box from Bristol City. Knocked down into the ground by Davis. At it deflects to Nunez. Nunez looks up and plays it in right-footed. Good-looking cross. Headed away well by Atkinson. Nodded down by Furlong. Sykes is able to control it. And then play it right-footed up towards the halfway line of Mehmeti, but Matusiwa deals with him. And just tucks it back to Christian Walton. 7 minutes to go until half-time. Town very close to opening up a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, they were, and this has been a good game. Bristol City are doing well enough to be in touch of getting a result, but they haven't been quite creative enough. That's where Town have been better than them.
Matusiwa digs it back out towards O'Shea. From nowhere, Town just sprung forward with that attack. That was really nice football from them. Played forward down the far touchline towards Davis. Davis does well to get away from Sykes and then tidy up back to Kipre. The home fans enjoyed that. Kipre to the halfway line, just north of the centre circle. Matusiwa, he picks out Kayuste. Davis is on his bike far side, but Kayuste is held on to the ball and gone back to Cedric Kipre. Clark down that far touchline, cuts in field, gives it to Kayuste, onto Matusiwa. Matusiwa square to Furlong. This is nice. Furlong dinks the ball in, just caught in so many different minds. Darnell Furlong, what on earth to do there? He didn't do very much in the end at all, sadly. Here is wrist, but Dara O'Shea should see the ball out of play. Now it's come off Dara and stayed in. And he's able to give it back to Walton. Walton then gives it back to O'Shea. Calmly touched beyond Mehmeti to Furlong. Town now have it just outside the penalty area with Matusiwa. Encouraged to go forward by the home crowd. He's given it square to Kipre. 7 minutes of the first half to go. Matusiwa through a little gap to Kayuste. Athon's gone offside. Kayuste might have to go on his own through the middle. The ball runs away from him to Vitek.
Yeah, we're nice and positive. Particularly Wes Burns. I was just watching him again. He sort of makes runs where his marker can't see him, and then all of a sudden there's a dart in a different direction, and he's looking very, very threatening with these runs.
I just keep seeing that save, and I think that was a phenomenal bit of goalkeeping from Vitek. The ball was almost behind him, twisting back towards his own goal line. Athon must have thought he'd scored. It was absolutely superb. Here he is again at the back. Vitek, right-footed forward from him. O'Shea's header hits the shin pads of Matusiwa. O'Shea's then caught late as he's gone down in a lot of pain next to an advertising board down below us. Board just going to get a yellow card for that challenge, which Kieran McKenna applauds. Well, it takes a lot for O'Shea to go down like that and be in pain. Thankfully he's back up on his feet. Yeah, rather left his foot in there. Neto Borges, the Brazilian, who's on loan from Middlesbrough. He played a fair number of games for Middlesbrough last season. They've been doing a bit of business over the last week or so to strengthen their chances of going up automatically. Halberg's side. O'Shea to Nunez. Nunez goes back to Dara O'Shea. Getting a good run of games in the number 10, Nunez, at the moment, as Walton left foot has this one up to the centre circle. Dickey just hauls Athon to the ground. Morsey is on the ball, and now it goes back towards Vitek, edge of his area. Little spin from Dickey to get away from Clark, then almost ran into trouble in the shape, and Nunez manages to get the ball back to Atkinson, who plays it to Mehmeti on this left hand side inside his own half, so that'll do. Atkinson up towards halfway, risks with a little touchdown, but only for Matusiwa. Matusiwa inside to Kiyuste. Not the best of balls. Kiyuste's made something of it. He's done very well. Kiyuste to Burns. Burns with a little step over down this right-hand side. Back to Furlong, 1-0 Ipswich. Here is O'Shea. Forward to Matusiwa again. Risky one for Kiyuste to deal with. He's done well again, Kiyuste. To spare the blushes of Matusiwa. O'Shea again finds Matusiwa. Matusiwa forces Kiyuste to stretch. He gets it forward to Nunez. Morsey wins it though. Given away again by Randall of Bristol City. A little bit messy in midfield at the moment. Matusiwa and Kiyuste play keep ball.
I think everybody else in the ground could see Leif Davis's position.
Nice spin from Kiyuste up towards Athon. Athon gets it to Burns. Burns can't beat Borges. Borges upended by Nunez. Free kick.
Yeah, it's an intriguing game. It's, you know, that you've got to say that Town are the team that can create the chances, and it's just a question of can they create enough chances to go into a 2-goal lead. But Bristol on the same breath is pretty good. Their passing is very good, very sharp, but they just lack a little bit of idea in the last third of the pitch.
3 minutes of normal time to go at the end of this first period. Seems a long time since Jack Clark's only goal of the game, 9 minutes in. Forward from Twine, in behind for Sykes. Sykes might get there ahead of Davis. He has. Davis has held him up wide right outside the Ipswich area. Sykes is still on the ball. He's gone down on one knee. Davis is sticking to the task. The ball's gone out of play. It did look like a throw to Ipswich Town as Sykes was about to take it. We are a long, long way away, but the man with the flag who was a yard away agrees it's a Leif Davis throw. Sykes is less than impressed. Surely the man with the flag got that right. Couldn't have been any closer. Sinclair Armstrong warming up on this near side for Bristol City. Davis then with this throw in for Ipswich Town as one of Gerhard Struber's lieutenant speaks to the fourth official, Josh Smith. Davis with another throw in now midway inside the Ipswich Town half far side. We'll grab an extra few yards. There's a little jog forward. Davis with a throw towards Clark. Athon then rises, nods it on to Nunez. Stumped forward by Atkinson. Borges gives it back to Vitek on the edge of his area. Nonchalantly plants it forward, right-footed. Kipre goes to ground. Heads it to Sykes. Sykes up towards Twine. Twine with a little back heel to Riss. Riss shoot saved by Walton, and he made it stick in the centre of his goal. An attempt on goal from nothing from Bristol City, that one.
Yeah, it's good, nice and sharp again. You know, the play was really good. It didn't look as if they were going to create anything, but because they sort of moved it very, very quickly, in the end they did get a shot away, and again Christian Walton was tested.
Given away by Furlong, straight to Morsey. Morsey rolls it up to Twine. Twine goes down, and a challenge from Kiyuste. Should have done more with it, Scott Twine. There is Kipre back to Walton. Made a couple of saves in this game. Walton hasn't been stretched though overly. Nothing that you really wouldn't expect him to make. Such a good goalkeeper in such good form at the moment as well. Obviously full of confidence. Kipre to Athon. Athon goes backwards towards O'Shea. Final minute of the first half of normal time anyway. O'Shea seeks out Clark straight onto his chest. Good ball from the captain. Clark's going to try and take on his man far side. He's gone down, appealing for a free kick. Nothing given. But Mr. Whitestone. Bristol City with Randall. He's played it out. Very sloppy from him, Adam Randall. He's given Ipswich Town a sloppy throw in outside the Bristol City penalty area.
Yeah, that was unnecessary. They had won the ball and they should have just worked it away from that sort of tight little corner there, but they just got a little bit overconfident.
Jack Clark on this throw-in at the start of 3 added on minutes at the end of this first half, which has been a decent one for Ipswich Town. No, he's just leaving the ball for Davis in the end, Clark. I thought I hadn't seen him take a throw in before. Davis sitting down on one of the advertising boards far side underneath the Bristol City fans. fair few of them in the traditional red and white. Davis throws the ball into the Bristol City area, headed away by Riss, touched into the box by Kiyuste, comes out as far as Burns inside the box, overlapping is Furlong into the middle, off of Borges, corner kick for Ipswich Town, and added on time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, they've just got Bristol sort of under a bit of pressure here just before half-time. It'd be a great time for us to score it. It'd be a desperately bad time for Bristol to concede.
Come on you Blues, says the big screen over in the right corner between the cobbled stand and the Sir Alf Ramsey. Leif Davis on this sixth and potentially final corner kick of this first half for Ipswich Town, who at the moment lead by 1-0. Plenty bodies inside the area. Clark and Nunez just on the edge of it. What's the delivery like from Davis? It's deep high towards the far post, headed down by O'Shea, but there's an infringement in there, says the referee. He's blown up, free kick to Bristol City.
Yeah, again, Bristol would be delighted that that's the pressure away from them, you know, and they will be, I won't say they'd be happy to go in at 1-0 down, but, you know, it's better than being 2-0 down. They've played okay. At 1-0, they can at least have a controlled dressing room at half-time.
Here comes the goal kick, or free kick should I say, from Vitek. Over halfway, O'Shea with a header. Clark can't control it properly. Played over the top by Sykes, so that was the intention, but Kipbury backpedal and won the header. Matthew Siwa, Morsey closes him down, but Matthew Siwa gets the ball to Davis. Davis finds Nunez. Nunez runs into traffic, then Matthew Siwa steps in to get a hold of the ball. Dara O'Shea to Darnell Furlong. I think it's been a good game this between these two sides. Burns runs the ball out accidentally through to Bristol City. He actually made his Bristol City debut many moons ago. He was one of 6 players in that squad that day who would either played for Ipswich Town or would go on and play for Ipswich Town. The likes of Cole Skews and Paul Anderson, Dean Gherkin, John Stead. Wes Burns were all in that Bristol City squad back in the day. That was his first club, before the likes of Aberdeen and Fleetwood, obviously. As the ball is with Tanner. Haven't seen too much of him. He clears it out away from Clark, far side, underneath the Bristol City fans for a throw to Ipswich. But it won't be time for it, as Kieran McKenna gets a little jog on down this near side, heading towards the tunnel, about to address his players who lead this championship game by 1 Jack Clark goal to 0.
Well, I think if you were to lay the teams down on paper, not necessarily names but positions, with Bristol having a 3-5-2 system and Town playing the favoured 4-2-3-1 system, you would look and you think, yes, down the sides, that's where we have the numbers in an advantage. We have theoretically a 2v1 down both sides, very congested through the middle, and I think that is where we've pretty much governed the game. I think Wes Burns has been on top of Borges, the left wing back for Bristol City. He's been nicely backed up by Darnell Furlong, but Darnell has not gone beyond Wes. He's almost saying to himself, I think Wes is okay on a 1-to-1. I just need to support him in case he wants to turn back and use me. The other side, Clark and Leif Davis, they are really exploiting that lack of numbers of Bristol City down that side, because Leif has got this ability to go beyond the man in front of him. So, you know, you've got Clark who can go down the outside if he needs to. You've got Leif Davis making the run down the outside on a regular basis. Jack Clark can come inside if he wants. He did that to score his goal. It's down the sides. That's where we've got charge of this game. Not so much through the middle. You know, it's a tight game through the middle, and it will be because it's a 3v3 there. There's a lot of numbers in that particular position. So, you know, I think that we've got to keep doing that in the second half. Make sure that we keep the sides of the team operating nicely. The guys in the middle can be patient. They don't have to get terribly involved. They've just got to be available all the time for any necessary switches of the play. So we're pretty good. I feel that we're just in charge of the game. We've done this with home games in the past, very recently. Early goal does help us. It gives us that ability to take a grip of the game. There was a nice spell just before half-time, the last 10 minutes, if you like, of the first half, where we definitely had a firm control of the game, and our percentage of possession levels went really high. Bristol were actually in front of us possession-wise for a long time, but that was just prior to the half-time whistle where we had a good 10 minutes and we took control of who had the most possession. So I'm happy with the performance. We haven't conceded any real chance, just one maybe chance there, but Christian Walton seems as if he's capable to deal with the odd shot or two. At the moment, satisfied with it, but we are playing a team in Bristol City who can play good, sharp football.
Yeah, so far so good for Ipswich Town, up to second in the live championship table because they lead Bristol City 1-0 at the break.
Yeah, and 6 points behind leaders Coventry City in the live table. They are level at 1-1 with Millwall at half-time. Hull City 2-0 up on their travels at Preston. That's fifth away at 6th. In the 8 o'clock kickoff, just over half an hour gone at the Racecourse Ground. Wrexham 0, Leicester City 0. Oxford and QPR is goalless at half-time. Derby ahead 1-0 at Charlton. A Macaulay Gillespie own goal. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Birmingham City 0. A couple of goals in South Wales. Swansea 1, Blackburn 1. Zanvet Potnik again for Swansea opening the scoring. New addition Matthias Jorgensen levelling for Blackburn. Norwich have the lead at West Brom 1-0. In the Champions League earlier this evening, Manchester City beaten in Norway 3-1 by Bodo Glimt. Arsenal are 2-1 up away at Inter Milan. We've had 37 minutes gone in that one. Both Arsenal goals scored by Gabriel Jesus, either side of Inter's equaliser from Petar Sucic, and Christian Romero for Tottenham Hotspur this evening. And they've just scored a second through Dominic Solanke. They lead Borussia Dortmund by 2-0 in North London tonight. Around the grounds locally, quite a game at Victory Road in the Southern Premier League. Leiston were trailing 2-0 at home to Alverchurch, but they've drawn level. Ronnie Blowis getting one back on 27 minutes. Ben Folkes from the penalty spot a few minutes later. AFC Sudbury trailing at Stamford in the Isthmian North Division. Newmarket Town trailing 1-0 at home to Malden and Tiptree. Mildenhall, when we last checked in, were level at 1-1 with Waltham Abbey, and Lowestoft Town were a goal down at Takeley. Let's find out how the leaders are getting on. Nick Garnham watching Felixstowe and Walton United in action tonight at home to Galston.
It's Felixstowe and Walton United 2, Galston 0, and the Seasiders are in control and on course to make it 7 successive victories after first half goals from Jose Santa de la Paz and Sam Ford. After Felixstowe keeper Harry Wright was forced to tip over Joe Marsden's near post header following a long throw, Josh Hitter's curling free kick out on the left struck the top of the far post at the other end. The Seasiders moved in front in the 16th minute when the ball was slipped through to Santa de la Paz and the informed striker poked it past on-rushing keeper Anthony Bort. They made it 2-0 after 25 minutes when Noel Aikins played a delightful cross-field ball over the top of the Galston defence and Ford controlled superbly before dispatching his shot into the bottom far corner. The Seasiders had a great chance to add a third goal in the 38th minute, Ford releasing Zach Brown on the right, and his low cross picked out Santa de la Paz, who lifted his shot over the crossbar. 3 minutes later, Bort made a flying save from Hitter's effort after a good exchange of passes on the left, and then Bort saved on the goal line from Santa de la Paz's deflected shot as the home team went in search of a third goal. Half-time here at the Martello Ground, it's Felixstowe and Walton United 2, Galston 0.
Thank you, Nick. Half-time in our main feature, Ipswich Town 1, Bristol City 0. We'll have full second half commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. Second half getting underway in a few minutes' time. Town yet to make a signing during the January window. Ipswich Town women have made one, though, and we'll hear from her next.
Sarah Lilly.
You saw a movie actor.
Yeah, and the big deal too.
Because we love to hear about your celeb spotting.
You go to all the posh places.
Claire Balding. Delia, you've seen all the greats. Shall we guess?
Guess the celeb?
Jamie and Stones Green initially thought John Cleese,
Not John Cleese.
but then got it right. Yeah.
It was Ben Whishaw.
Oh, and that's why you thought of me and Linda.
The voice of Paddington.
The voice of Paddington.
I was practically having dinner with Paddington.
Oh,
Marmalade sandwiches with the bear.
and it was wasted on you because you famously hate Paddington Bear.
Sarah Lilly, weekdays 10 till 2 on BBC Radio Suffolk and BBC Sounds.
It's Graham Mack with Match Night here till 10:30. Ipswich Town women have made their first signing of the year. Midfielder Colette Cavana has arrived from a short spell in Spain at Deportivo La Coruña. The 27-year-old brings Champions League experience from her time at Celtic and has also won silverware with Rangers and Hibernian. She's been telling the club's Town TV channel how it feels to have arrived in Suffolk.
I'm delighted. I think there is such an exciting project here and I'm delighted to be a part of it, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, talk to us about the move then. Why did you choose Ipswich?
It's been a crazy move. Spoke to Ipswich last week and Sean really sold the project to me and their aims and objectives this year, and yeah, I'm really wanting to be a part of that and to change things within the club, and I think they've got the infrastructure, they've got the support, they've got the facilities to do that, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you spent the morning up at the training ground and had a look around the facilities. What did you think?
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. We managed to see the girls as well and introduce ourselves. So yeah, everyone's been very friendly and welcoming. All the staff, the canteen, and yeah, the drivers as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
In terms of your background, then you've had a lot of success in Scottish football for Celtic, Rangers, and Hibs. Just talk to us about this experience and what you want to bring to this team.
Yeah, I've learned a lot within my career at Celtic, what it means to win, what it takes to win, and that's something that I'd like to implement here with my experience, to be a leader on and off the pitch, and yeah, I'm buzzing.
And you played in the Champions League too, and even scored in your debut. Talk to us about that goal and your memories from playing in that competition.
Yeah, playing in Champions League, like, there's no words to describe it. You're playing against the top players. We played against Chelsea, FC Twente and Real Madrid, like amazing players, and it's just adding more experience to your game and seeing the level that you could achieve. But yeah, with Hibs as well, it was an exciting time in my life. I'd never experienced anything like that before. So yeah, credit to Hibs for giving me that opportunity.
And you joined here as one of the more experienced players in a relatively young group. Is that sort of like a role that you're looking to embrace, that sort of leadership? Yeah,
definitely. I would say I am a leader on and off the pitch. I communicate well, and yeah, I love to help people, and I appreciate when people help me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to helping the team and striving for the best that we can.
In terms of your playing style, how would you describe it, and what would you say your main strengths are?
I say my main strength is definitely my fight, my determination and my aggressiveness. So that's definitely something that I want to implement towards the game here at Ipswich. Yeah, I'm a fighter, so I won't go down without a fight.
And finally, what are your expectations from WSL2 football, and how excited are you to get started now?
Yeah, I've got high expectations. I have been watching a lot of games. I always watch the games on YouTube, and there's very talented players here. I've played with a lot of players who were in Scotland who have then moved down here as well, so it'll be good to see them and see how they play within this league, and yeah, give them a good fight.
Ipswich Town women's new signing Colette Cavana, speaking to Howard Bloom for the club's Town TV service, could make her Track the Girls debut this coming Sunday when they face Bristol City in WSL2. Kick-off at the Community Stadium in Colchester is at 2 o'clock. Ipswich Town's men in action against Bristol City tonight. So far, so good. The second half's coming up.
Here is Kiyuste. First time he's had the ball at his feet in midfield. Turns away from Randall. Excellent play. Slick as ever from the Swede. Here is Clark testing Bristol City for the first time. Cuts inside the area, shoots and scores! Really, really good goal that from Ipswich Town after 8 minutes of this championship game. Terrific play in midfield from Kiyuste to find Jack Clark, and he hit it low into the corner of the net for his 9th of the season. Here come Ipswich again. It's the goal scorer Clark once more. On his right foot, deflected, it loops up in the air and is caught by Vitek. Had it not taken a deflection, that was certainly going to test the visiting goalkeeper. Oh, terrible from Kipre. A chance for Riss to make it 1-1. What an opportunity! Saved by Walton. Wow, a very rare error from Cedric Kipre, who's been phenomenal this season, but that could so easily have cost Ipswich Town a goal. Matu Siwa, who's robbed of the ball by Borges. Mehmeti springing forward for Bristol City, puts it in behind for Riss, who gets goal side of O'Shea inside the Ipswich Town area. O'Shea takes it away from him. And as far as Borges, his attempted cross hits the chest of O'Shea. Now Town can break, not too many players forward. Burns swings it across the park excellently to Athon. He takes it in his stride, he's having a good game. Overlapping is Davis at a rate of knots. Athon still has the ball outside the area, tries to pick his spot. Oh, not too far away either. Great effort from him, just onto the roof of the net. Now Furlong, closed down by Mehmeti, up towards Nunez. Nunez around the back for Burns. This is excellent play. Burns inside the area, pulls it back. Kayuste might come back to him. Oh, what a save! How on earth has that not gone in from Athon? That looked remarkable from Vitek. How on earth did he get that up over the bar? It looks certain to be 2-0. Sykes up towards Twine. Twine with a little back heel to Riss. Riss shoots saved by Walton, and he made it stick in the centre of his goal. An attempt on goal from nothing from Bristol City, that one.
I volunteer as tribute.
Films on BBC iPlayer.
From District 12. I never asked for this. I never asked to be in the games.
The Hunger Games collection.
May the odds be ever in your favour.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Well, people had their say pre-match. You can do so at full time as well. Drop us a text, 81333, WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your messages with SFK, and you can speak to former Town captain Mick Mills on 0800 141 2121. Half-time approaching in the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Champions League. A reminder, Arsenal ahead 2-1 at Inter Milan, and Tottenham Hotspur leading Borussia Dortmund by 2-0 earlier. Manchester City losing 3-1 in Norway away at Bodo Glimt. Around the grounds locally, Leyton 2, Alvechurch 2 at half-time in the Southern Premier League. AFC Sudbury trailing 1-0 at Stamford. In the Isthmian North Division, Newmarket 0, Malden Tiptree 1. Mildenhall level at 1-1 with Waltham Abbey. Lowestoft 2-0 down away at Takeley, and the leaders Felixstowe and Walter United 2 goals to the good at home to Galston. Jose Santa de la Paz and Sam Ford on target. In the Championship, the leaders Coventry are 1-1 with Millwall, currently 6 points clear of Ipswich Town in the live table. Town up to second as they lead 1-0 in our main feature. Good night for Hull so far, 2-0 up away at Preston. At half-time approaching in the 8 o'clock kickoff at the Racecourse Ground. Wrexham 0, Leicester 0. Let's go back to Portman Road. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and first Brenna Woolley with the second half about to get underway.
Yeah, two teams out in front of us. No further changes in this match, so nothing at half-time. During the first half, Sam Morsey came on for Zach Viner for Bristol City. So Town are lining up with Walton in the goal off to our right-hand side for the second half. His back four's Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre, Davis, and Matu Siwa is playing alongside Kayuste. It's Burns, Nunez, Clark, the goal scorer, and behind Athon. On the bench, Palmer, Hurst, Eggerly, Taylor, Greaves, Smodix, Young, Johnson, McAteer. Town in blue, white, blue up against the white, black, white of Bristol City. Their goalkeepers Vitek. The back three of Tanner, Dickey and Atkinson. Then a four of Sykes. Now Morsey, Randall and Borges. Twine and Mehmeti are the two number 10s in behind. Riss on the bench. Lumley, Pring, Knight, Bell, Peakover, Earthy, Armstrong and Roberts. Bit of a false start to the second half. Now this one is belatedly up and running. Vitek, right-footed, kicks the ball forward from left to right. Kipre wrestles wrist to the ground. Davis hooks the ball out behind for an early corner kick to Bristol City, awarded inside the first 15 seconds of the second period.
Yeah, and really it was a little bit unnecessary, really.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Poor clearance from Davis. Corner kick to Bristol City. Only their second of this game. It's Twine, the dead ball specialist, the number 10, to take this for Bristol, trying to get them level early in the second half. Pays it back, and it's clipped by Sykes towards the far post. It looped out of play. That's come to absolutely nothing, so that's nice and easy for Ipswich Town to deal with.
First time for a long time I haven't seen where a corner's given and they don't put one player in the 6-yard box. They all came away from the 6-yard box to make, obviously, runs in, but the ball was played short, then the runs come.
Walton clears long down Portman Road from right to left. One in the air by Dickey, the captain of the visitors. Twine outnumbered. Matisiwa gets on the ball. Furlong gets there ahead of Riss, far side, and plays it back towards Dara O'Shea. Now Walton inside the D off to our right hand side. O'Shea is back on the ball to the far side, and Furlong. Town playing it around at the back. Listening to full match commentary live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Full match commentary of Sheffield, the trip to Sheffield United on Saturday coming up. Start the build up to that with Graham on the match day preview on Friday night between 6 and 7. Town legend John Walk will be talking about Blackburn, Bristol City, and what he's expecting from the Blades. As Walton, left-footed, goes to the far side, headed away by Borges against Burns. Ipswich pick up the pieces in midfield through Clark, turns and faces the Bristol City lineup, still has it in midfield, goes back to Matisiwa. First time he gives it to Kipre to the left hand side, and Davis, nice take from Davis, taking on Tanner, low ball into the box from Davis, excellent play from him. Burns will gather it outside the box, back to Furlong, sets himself, gives it back to Burns on the right. Burns with a bit of room, in comes his cross from near the cobbled stand, headed away as far as Matisiwa. His little nod down goes into the box, missed by Morsey but cleared by Dickey. Headed up in the air by Furlong. Burns' touch lets him down. It's a throw to Bristol City on the far side.
Yeah, it's just going to be just sort of give and take for a little while, just to see who can sort of get some pressure on. Bristol will want to try and get back in this game as quickly as possible. Town would be desperate to get that second one, of course.
December 23, the last time that Town won 6 league wins here in a row. Kayuste bursting forward from midfield. Referee's blown up against him. Free kick to Bristol City inside their half of the pitch. Morsey exchanges passes with Dickey. Dickey into midfield and Randall. Randall controls it, tries to get away from Nunez. In goes Matisiwa. Nunez was fouling Randall, says the referee. Again, who was in a good position to spot that. This was Burns' 150th appearance for the club at the weekend against Blackburn. First league start of the campaign from here. Sykes nutmegs Davis, plays the ball up looking for Riss, but it's Furlong who'd come in field. Furlong towards Athon. Athon lays it off to Kayuste, tries to get Athon through Kayuste, but Bristol City get the ball back to Vitek. Belted forward from his right boot. O'Shea gets the better of Riss. The ball's brought down by Randall. Mametti on the far side for Bristol City. Gives it back to Randall, who holds off the challenge of Furlong. Here is Morsey, closed down by Nunez. Nunez has a little nibble at him. Dickey back towards Morsey in the middle. Morsey plays it the way he was looking. Back towards Tanner. Now Twine shapes to go forward. Fox's Clark. Bristol City work the ball up to the halfway line with Dickey, trying to draw level. Jack Clark for the only goal after 8 minutes of this championship fixture. Good finish as well, low into the corner of the net, coming in from the left. Tanner picks out a pass up towards Riss. Riss controls it for Randall. Randall switches it to the left-hand side first time. Borges is offside, and he shouldn't have been. That's really poor play from him, because it's been promising from Bristol City.
Yeah, very poor play. You know, that was super play. They had it over here on the right-hand side. They worked it nicely. The cross-field pass came, and Borges is offside. He should never have been.
Matisiwa spins away from Riss, but he loses the ball. Morsey's then going to have to battle Athon for it. A little bit risky from Morsey, but Atkinson did well for him. Then Randall has done well in midfield. Bristol City with Mametti. Ball's inside the Bristol City half. Fair bit of possession for them at the moment in terms of the first half possession between these two sides. Town had the bulk of it, 57% of the possession. 9 shots compared to just the 4 from Bristol City. Both had a couple on target. Most crucially, one of Town's 2 went in. Twine trying to play it in behind for Riss. Still lots of work for him to do. Right hand corner of the area. Riss goes infield. He's done well to find Mametti. Mametti shoots, saved by Walton straight at him. It was a good clean hit from Mametti from outside the area. He'd expect Walton to make the block, and he did. Nunez tries to get Athon in behind as he was closed down by Morsey. Bristol City win the ball back.
Yeah, that's good play by Mehmeti. It really was, but so comfortable Christian Walton when he makes the saves.
We were just saying at half-time how comfortable and confident he looks. Walton hasn't had masses to do in recent times because Town have defended well, but he just really looks the part. He's made the most of his opportunity back in the side and become a real fixture. Sadly for Alex Palmer, they'll each get one Wrexham game each next month. Bristol City having a good spell at the moment. Edge of the box, in comes a woeful pass from Twine. Way too much on that. He's far better than that as a footballer, Scott Twine, and he knows that he's having a right old go at himself.
Yes, he is. He's a good player, Twine. Mehmeti's a good player and shouldn't be doing that type of thing. That was another good passing sequence from Bristol City. They've come out second half and they look a little bit more switched on in the second half than they were in the first.
Yeah, they do. I like them in general as a side, though. They're not world beaters. They're not going to challenge Ipswich, Coventry, Middlesbrough at the top of the division, but I like them at Ashton Gate, and they've played some nice stuff here tonight. They're still very much in this game. If they keep playing like this, they've got to be challengers for the top six. Forward the ball goes for Twine. Closed down by Kipre. Clark helps out. The ball's come off of Twine last, so it's a throw-in. It's got a belter here for Swindon. Did Scott Twine a few years ago. And for MK Dons in the past, had a short spell at Burnley, which didn't really work out for him. Still just 26. Seems to been around a long old while. Throw in from Davis towards halfway, headed on by Clark into the centre circle. Atkinson is there. Mehmeti's been fouled by Furlong. Free kick to Bristol City. Gerhard Struber, despite the fact he's shaking his head at the moment, he's fairly happy with what he's seen from his team. 8 minutes gone in the second half. It was about this point of the first that Clark scored the only goal. Numbers to get in touch afterwards: 0800 141 2121 is the phone number. Bristol City on the attack down the right-hand side. It's going to run away from Sykes. The text number 81333. Start those messages SFK or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. And again, put SFK at the start of those. We'll hear from Kieran McKenna and hopefully an Ipswich Town player before we're off air at 10:30 tonight as well.
Yeah, I thought Sykes maybe if he had gone full blast he could have caught that ball before it got to the byline, but I don't think he liked the look of Kipre coming across.
There is Kipre getting the ball into midfield to Matusiwa, spins away from Riss out to the far side. He gives it to Furlong. Nunez is making a run. Furlong plays it over the top looking for Burns. Burns is on the ball wide right outside the Bristol City area. In comes his cross, deflected, headed away by Dickey. Might go back to Burns on the chest of Borges nudged over by Burns. The referee's bought it. Free kick to the visitors.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a push from Burns, but very positive play again by Wes Burns to get his sort of cross in. Unfortunately, when the ball does get cleared, I think he does impede the player.
Yeah, I agree. Don't look a fair shout from the referee. Hardly surprising the majority inside this ground disagreed, mind you. It's Vitek who clears this free kick from the left back area. O'Shea wins the header. Powerful one forward. Athon's after this. He's going to get the better of the header from Dickey, which wasn't the best. Athon inside the area, right of centre to Clark! It's 2-0 Ipswich! Sweet finish again off his right boot, low into the corner of the net, this time in front of the North Stand, with whom he now celebrates his 10th goal of the season. He's level with Jayden Philogene, and more importantly tonight, Ipswich Town lead Bristol City by 2-0.
Well, it's amazing our left-siders how many goals they score, but this is, again, it's a case of mistake, seize upon it, punish, and that's all that happened. I mean, the centre-half should have dealt with the ball in the air to start with. He didn't. He seemed to give up on it a little bit. And then Athon gets on the loose ball. His ball is a good one. It finds Clark nicely, but that is a beautiful finish. It really is. It's a side foot finish, guided into the far corner. That's the exact thing he needed to do. It didn't need pace, it needed direction.
Fascinating battle between that competition between he and Jayden Philogene to be the leading goal scorer, both on 10 goals for the season. As the changes are coming from the visitors' bench, Earthy, a midfielder on loan from West Ham, Pring, a left-sided defender, both coming on for Bristol City, who find themselves trailing 2-0 now. Clark, now 3 goals against Bristol City this season. High boot he's been blown up against. He's apologising towards the... Well, he's having a word at least with the Bristol City bench. It was against the forehead of Tanner. Thankfully he didn't catch him, so play can continue. 56.5 minutes played. Ball forward looking for Riss. Well, certainly made the most of his opportunity tonight as Clark. Earthy back for a second spell. He's highly regarded at West Ham. He's going to be getting an opportunity. Sinclair Armstrong coming on as well. Former QPR player who really shone a couple of seasons ago at Loftus Road for the Hoops against Ipswich Town, but hasn't really set the world alight in the West Country. Athon, good block, but the ball eventually finds its way to a Bristol City player. Back it goes to the goalkeeper Vitek. Vitek's clearance goes towards the halfway line. Morsey with a header up to Riss. Riss brings it down, tries to get away from Matthew Seaway, which he's managed to do. Then goes back to the centre spot. Bristol City still have it with Randall. Kieran McKenna having a word with a substitute or two. Morsey gets it to Borges. Morsey's back on the ball, closed down by Nunez. Atkinson into the box to Borges, who turns and strikes with venom, but thankfully without direction.
Yeah, lovely move. Involved Sam Morsey an awful lot. He probably had 3 touches of the ball in that move. It progressed nicely, and that was a decent finish. It was screaming across Christian Walton towards the far post, and fortunately for Town it's gone sort of wide of that far post. But again, it's a nice slick move by Bristol City.
Here come the changes. Riss and Sykes, a couple of the players gone off, so too Borges, who's on a yellow card, and on have come Pring, Earthy and Armstrong. Back to Graham at 2-0.
Leaders Coventry still 1-1 with Millwall. Hull now 3 up at Preston. Swansea back in front 2-1 at home to Blackburn. Norwich have doubled their lead at West Brom 2-0.
Ahead of tonight, they've only conceded 14 goals in 13 away games, fewer than both Coventry and Middlesbrough, the top 2 Bristol City, but they're 2-0 behind here tonight. There's Town at the moment anyway, heading towards a 6th consecutive league win here and climbing above Middlesbrough, who incidentally head to Stoke tomorrow. That's a tricky game for them. Walton clips it to halfway, intercepted by Tanner. Here is the new boy Earthy. He gives it to Mehmeti. Mehmeti guarded by Kayuste and Nunez. Mehmeti back to Morsey in the centre circle. He finds Randall. Randall gets the better of Kayuste with a bit of good fortune. Randall up to the edge of the Ipswich area. Back comes Clark, the 2-goal scorer. Left-footed effort from Twine, which goes over the bar from 23-24 yards out.
Yeah, they're still looking sharp. I mean, we're 2-0 in front. You know, we should start to slowly but surely take control of the game in better areas, really. Not so much just in your own half, just outside your own box. You know, we've got to try and push this game up towards the North Stand end on a more consistent basis.
Davis down the line, not good from him, but he's got it back as the interception of Randall found its way to the left back. Kipre just clears his lines up towards Athon on halfway. The ball breaks to Nunez. Nunez dragged down by Morsey on the centre spot. Morsey's got a yellow card on his Portman Road return. There's a surprise.
Yeah, I think the referee might have been wanting to do that. I don't know, he was a bit sharp doing that. I think it was just it was going nowhere, Nunez. It was a foul, it was a bit of fun really more than anything else, and the referee was too keen to do it.
Here is Kipre. Ball up towards Kayuste. Clever ball from Kipre. Kayuste is inside the area, twisting and turning, trying to find space. Back it goes to Clark. Crowd want him to shoot. No opportunity just yet, so he holds on to it for eventually finding Matthew Seaway. Then on the right-hand side, Furlong. Furlong to Nunez. Back in field from Nunez, just away from Burns it was. As belted long by Randall. Headed in field by O'Shea. It's got enough on it to go back to Kipre, who then nods it back to an applauding Christian Walton.
Yeah, it was a difficult ball to deal with that for O'Shea. Very difficult.
He did well. In a steady season, the captain. O'Shea finds Matthew Seaway. Matthew Seaway up to Clark in the centre of the pitch. Out to the right-hand side, Nunez. Nunez looks forward towards Athon. The flag was always going to go up against the Spaniard. He's belted the ball back to Vitek. And quickly apologises to the referee. Morsey, clever little ball through midfield to Twine, out to the left-hand side. It's Pring, the substitute. Overlapping is Mehmeti. Pring into the middle as a chance for the number 44, Earthy, because he's pretty much would have been, well, it was his first touch of the game, and a poor one at that, but it was a chance.
It was a chance, and a beautiful pass that started to set the thing up from Sam Morsey just inside his own half, and he picked that one out over about 30 yards in a central position, and it ended up with a possible sort of a goal. If he had struck it right, it would have been difficult for Christian.
Still a long way to go, relatively speaking. 17 minutes played in the second half, so at least half an hour's worth of action still to play. Oh, Athon's nudged off the ball by Dickey. Cleared away. We had VAR, and the Championship might have been an interesting call, although nobody's getting too hot and bothered, so maybe not as bad as it first looked. Town are going to bring on Taylor and McAteer. Cajuste and Burns probably making way. Certainly Burns is. He's had a good game, really, all things considered. Warmly applauded by the vast majority. One or two Bristol City fans acknowledging him from his early days. And Jens Cajuste, the other player who had a hand in the first goal. He's done some nice things. Again, he comes off puffing his cheeks and pats hands with Taylor and McAteer. So Taylor and McAteer, two Irish internationals, replaced Burns and Cajuste, with Town leading 2-0, and Jack Clark desperate for an opportunity to score his first Ipswich Town hat-trick. That's in the absence of George Hurst at the moment anyway. He would more than likely be on a penalty should Town get one. Clark. There is O'Shea at the back for Town. Sweeps the ball to his left, and Kipre puts it over the top for Davis to chase. He goes after it, so too does Tanner. The ball beats the pair of them over the white line. 63 and a half minutes gone. Town have sent out Greaves, Young and Johnson. As Vitek retrieves the ball and readies himself for this goal kick from the centre of the 6-yard box off to our left-hand side. Tanner gives it back to Vitek. Vitek once more has the ball. Nunez will close him down. Vitek lifts it out to the right-hand side, and Twine. Poor touch from Twine, straight to Clark. It's gone out of play directly from Jack Clark for a throw to Bristol City.
Yeah, it's just we always seem to have this round about this time. You get the substitutions made, and the whole stadium goes into a bit of a lull. You know, it's that 2-0 sort of score line. It's a comfortable one, but you just got to make sure that you don't do anything silly.
Ipswich with a throw-in from Davis. Davis throws it down the line to Athon. Athon tries to weave his way away from a couple of white shirts. Can't manage to do that. It's another throw for Davis. His blue shirt flapping around, a little bit of a breeze down there. Town trying for a fourth straight win in all competitions at the start of 2026. And a good start to the new year for them. Davis skips away from his man excellently. Earthy was left for dead. In comes his low cross, fired in towards McAteer. Was that going towards the ball? He certainly was. He picked up a really good position, the substitute, but it's come off his marker for a corner.
Yeah, it was a great run. Terrific when you're making that run from the right hand side. Nobody can really see you, and I thought he just had the edge on his marker, and I was surprised he didn't manage to get ahead on it.
Marcelino Nunez with Ipswich Town's latest corner kick, their 7th of the game. All eyes on the box off to our left with 65 and a half minutes gone. It's deep, it's too deep. The referee's seen something he's unhappy with. It's a Bristol City ball at the back.
Yeah, it's just what we need really is for these substitutes to really sort of settle in really, really quickly, make no difference to the team performance, and then you can see us going sort of to the 90th or the finish of the game, you know, with the clean sheet intact, really.
Home game for them against Sheffield Wednesday this coming weekend, Bristol City, so they'll be expected to win that. So Barry Bannon linked with a £400,000 move to Preston yesterday. I wonder how much truth's in that. That'd be an interesting move. Good signing for Preston, Mr. Sheffield Wednesday and all that. Dickey gets the ball back to Vitek. Vitek, not the best connection he's made of the ball all night, but he's got enough on it. It's out of play off Clark. It's off Twine for a throw to Leif Davis. Jack Clark with the 2 goals either side of the break. 8 minutes into the first half, the other 10 minutes into the second. O'Shea rolls the ball to Furlong far side. Furlong down the line. Out of play for a throw to the visitors. Ball bounces infield towards Dickey. Potentially a difficult one to deal with. He's given it back to Atkinson. Wasted pass down the far touchline from Bristol City's perspective. McAteer takes the ball in his chest, gives it to Taylor. Taylor's little layoff finds Matusiwa. He goes back to Kipre. 67 on the clock as O'Shea finds Furlong. Furlong, not the best of passes, intercepted by Atkinson, but it's gone out off of him, off of his knees.
Well, the second goal going in has taken that sort of calmness away from Bristol City. That's sort of you feel that's hit them a little bit hard, because they, if anything, had a little bit of a control of the game since half-time, and now, they're a little bit disillusioned.
Well done, Athon, finding Davis. Clark down this left-hand side, wants to run in field, then he puts it in behind for Davis down the left side. Clark still available and gets the ball. In comes Twine. Town battle for the ball, but Bristol City bring it away. Clark might have a chance of winning it back. It's Jack Taylor ends up with the ball. Clark now inside the area, no room for a shot just yet. Puts it across the face of goal. He improvised off the outside of his right boot. Sadly, no one was in the centre to capitalise.
He was very clever there. How he managed to do that, I don't know.
Good play from Clark. He's having a good season. Matusiwa loops the ball towards Nunez. He twists his neck and flicks it on for himself in the end, Nunez. Then he crosses into the middle towards Clark. I don't know how much Tanner got on that ball. Not a great deal, but it was enough. Maybe just left Clark unsighted, and the ball went out to the far side and earthy. Bristol City, there's a man down, an Ipswich Town player over in the far left corner.
Is it McAteer?
No, I'm just trying to see who it is. Ball forward, Town down to 10 men temporarily. Kipre with a header. It's Nunez out of play at the moment. Play continues. He's back up on his feet, but he's not really involved. Bristol City trying to seize upon an opportunity when Town are a bit light defensively. There is Mehmeti trying to truck his way into the Ipswich area. Blocked off so far. Should be cleared by Furlong. He's put it up into the clouds. Will come down to Morsey. Morsey with a header against Pring. Pring upends McAteer. Kieran McKenna looking towards George Hurst. Had to come on for Athon, one would have thought. It's the home crowd sing Marcelino Nunez's song, trying to make him feel a bit better. Smodix is coming on now for Nunez. Like Burns earlier, getting ready to play against one of his former clubs. Didn't work out really for him at Ashton Gate. Sam Smodix. Matusiwa up against Armstrong. He's a big, strong striker, Sinclair Armstrong. Fearsome on his day, just hasn't had enough days for Bristol City. Kipre, good ball through midfield to Taylor. Taylor gives it to Clark, still full of running. He'll be desperate to stay on the field, Jack Clark. Clark goes square to Nunez outside the Bristol City area. Tries to flick it through to Athon, appeals for handball, not given. Town might win the ball back on the edge of the visitors' box. Mehmeti brings it away and then gives it to Atkinson. Atkinson finds Pring. Then Morsey inside the Bristol City half up against Taylor. Nunez has gone down again, injured. Play continues. Morsey on the ball. Bristol City have it. And then Furlong hauls his man to the deck and gets another yellow card. That's his 6th of the season, the vast majority in recent times. Got a break and play for the substitutions. We can go back to Graham.
I mentioned Hull were 3 up at Preston. Norwich are now 3 up at West Brom. Another goal for Swansea. They lead Blackburn 3-1. Derby doubled their lead at Charlton 2-0, but have been pegged back to 2-1. Coventry still 1-1 with Millwall.
The Town going above Middlesbrough for certain the way things are, and closing the gap on Coventry. And a difficult start for life for Eric Ramsey, the new West Brom manager. losing heavily to Norwich tonight. Great result for Norwich. Athon getting a warm round of applause, and so will Nunez when he gets back up to his feet. They're the two players going off to be replaced by Hurst and Smodics. Not a bad couple of substitutes to bring on at this stage of a game when you're already leading 2-0. Nunez getting a bit of treatment on the field over there. So I wonder whether Smodics might make his first start for a little while on Saturday, as injuries start to bite those attacking areas for Ipswich Town. How comfortable are Ipswich Town? How comfortable do you feel at the moment, Mick Mills?
Okay, because I just feel that the second goal, I think, has taken its toll on Bristol a little bit. I think there was a real confidence about them from half-time up until that second goal, and I was a bit concerned then, that they might have the ability to create, the good chance that beats Christian Walton, and it goes to 1-1. But as soon as the second one went in, which was a mistake, we punished them for it, and there's sort of a dip in their performance, and there's a spring in our step. So at the moment, very much in charge of the game.
He's walking off fairly freely, not leaning on anyone, Marcelino Nunez. Hopefully nothing too bad. Sam Smodics waits, desperate to get on. He's going to get 17.5 minutes plus. Smodics back against them, scoring 2 and 2. That's the way it can sometimes happen. He'd waited so long for that first Portman Road goal at the weekend. Have an opportunity now when he comes on. So Hurst and Smodics are on for Athon and Nunez. Bristol City have the ball inside their half of the field with Dickey square to Tanner, closed down by Clark. Still real spring in his step, Clark, as you'd expect. Given away again by Bristol City, straight to Matu Siwa. He gets the ball again from Kipre, plays it to Clark. Short heavy tackle by Tanner on Clark, which he's really felt. Kieran McKenna's furious about that. Yellow card for Tanner. Jack Clark's in a bit of pain, but he's hopefully going to be all right.
Yeah, it was a bit naughty.
Yeah,
I think he was thinking about the guy that scored the 2 goals to put us 2-0 down. I think it's time somebody just dealt with him.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was all about. So another card for the Bristol City player, Tanner and Morsey, the only 2 out there on cautions. Dara O'Shea still speaking to the referee. A fair number of people off the back of the weekend felt the referee actually got the 3 big decisions wrong. An awful lot of people felt that both sides should have had a penalty kick in that game against Blackburn, and the vast majority felt that Furlong was a very lucky boy not to get a red card for his elbow on Cantwell. And none of those 3 decisions were given. Here is Leif Davis over this long-range free kick. 15.5 minutes to go at Portman Road. Town attacking the end off to our left-hand side. Decent value for the 2-0 lead. Davis knocks the ball diagonally to the far side of the Bristol City area. Couldn't be met by O'Shea. It's brought away by Pring. Pring plays it long, looking to get Twine away, but Matu Siwa is covering, and he gets the ball back to Walton with a swing of his left boot. Walton to Davis. That was risky. Davis did well to get it out to Kipre. A few heads were in hands down in front of us. Town have got away with it. Taylor infield to Furlong, who was centrally positioned, swapping positions with O'Shea because O'Shea was on the right hand side. O'Shea goes up to Hurst, appeals for a handball. The referee's decided eventually to give it against Hurst. Bristol City lose the ball immediately after that free kick. 25,539, lowest attendance here for a little while for a league game, but it's a long way for those Bristol City fans to travel on a Tuesday night just after Christmas. Taylor goes back to Walton. Town, of course, would love to keep another clean sheet. They've had plenty of them in recent times. Here is Matu Siwa driving from the central defensive area, quickly up to the centre circle, gives it to Taylor. Taylor, without looking, he knew exactly where Davis was. One-time pass straight to Davis. Davis to Clark. Clark outside the penalty area, pulls it back to Matu Siwa. He's not going to listen to the crowd and shoot. He plays it to Smodix. Smodix back to Taylor, then to Davis. Davis low into the area to Clark, just miscontrols it. Cleared away by Bristol City, fully by Mehmeti. Armstrong's not really going to bother going after that one, nor should he, because it's easily back with Walton. 2-0 live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come afterwards. Yours welcome, 0800 141 2121 or text 81333. Start those messages SFK and WhatsApp 08000 321 333. SFK at the start of those. Taylor to Davis, that's way too much of his fullback there, did the midfielder. Had a play for a throw. Here is Tanner back into his penalty area to Dickey. He finds Atkinson. Back the ball goes to Vitek. Vitek controls it away from Hurst and then left-footed clears it, but only as far as McAteer. McAteer's header finds Taylor. Taylor headers on. Hurst would have been offside. Town win the ball back, but Bristol City clear their lines. Good header won by Taylor in midfield. Clark tries to give it to Hurst, but off balance he couldn't pick him out, and it's back with Vitek with a couple of players walking wounded, getting back up to their feet. Randall and McAteer.
Yeah, you just sense that Bristol have lost it. They've lost the plot now. They've lost the enthusiasm even.
There is Mehmeti, gives it back to Morsey. Morsey's held back by Hurst. Morsey's held on to the ball though. Now the ball goes back to the central defensive area. And Dickey. Bristol City playing it around at the back. Haven't got a great deal about them at the moment. Earthy wants it down underneath us. Playing very wide right, Earthy. Mehmeti. The layoff back to Atkinson. Down with everybody behind the ball, forcing Bristol City back. Morsey to his captain, Dickey. There is now Vitek. Right-footed from him, only to Darnell Furlong. Header goes up in the air. McAteer does well to keep it in play. Matu Siwa uses his body well. Ball's back with Furlong. Into the final 12 minutes of this game, one which Ipswich Town should go on and be victorious in. Kipre to Walton. Walton should give it back to Kipre, which is exactly what he's done in the end. Kipre up towards Hurst. Hurst's flick header and field for Smodix, who's bundled to the ground by Pring. Free kick in the centre circle. Graham.
Norwich 4 up at West Brom. Hadji Wright for Coventry. They lead Millwall 2-1.
Wow, what a result for Norwich. There is, isn't it? West Brom in better trouble. O'Shea, former West Brom player, gives it to another former baggy. Kipre on the left-hand side. Davis to the overlapping Clark was the intention, but Bristol City stuck to their guns and blocked it out. 11 minutes to go. Kipre gets the ball up to Hurst. Hurst out to the... Oh my word, terrible from Hurst. Shocking bit of play. Tried to whip it out to the far side to McAteer. He's got to do better than that, Hurst. Here comes another change. It's the full-back Roberts, who is going to be coming on for Bristol City for the remainder of this game for Atkinson, who's gone off on the far side. Whether that means a change of shape or whether he's just going to the left side of the back three, we'll see. Throw in for Bristol City. Pring to take this towards Armstrong. His first involvement, to header back to Pring. Furlong to McAteer. McAteer couldn't find Smodix. It's gone out on the far side for a throw to Ipswich Town. Not a great deal happening in this game now. 10 minutes to go. Furlong back towards O'Shea. Town have it with Kipre. Kipre's just too big and strong. He knew he could hold off Twine and then give it back to Davis. Davis in field to Clark. Clark on the halfway line, trying to look for a through ball. Morsey wrestles him to the deck. Out from Clark. Clark onto the chest of Davis. Davis wants to go beyond Earthy, and he goes down. Earthy says no foul, tells Davis to get up on his feet. The referee believes Earthy, and play goes on with Tanner. Tanner waited too long on the ball. Hurst wanted to take it off of him. Foul from George Hurst, says the referee. Free kick to Bristol City.
I think the referee's getting one or two little ones wrong, but it doesn't really concern the game. The game is gone. I think we've really got this in our pocket.
Yeah.
We're playing well, and we're in control of things, but Bristol have lost their motivation.
Roberts, the substitute, closed down by McAteer. On the ball, deflected into the lower cobbled stand over in the far left corner. Back to Graham.
Yeah, we have Birmingham 1 up at Sheffield Wednesday now, and Wrexham lead Leicester 1-0.
Still doing well, Wrexham. Still my team for a top 6 finish. Throw in for Ipswich Town, although Furlong didn't like that ball so much. He's replacing it.
Had a bit of mud on it.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with that one. Furlong with this throw in. Final 8 minutes. Ipswich Town follow up a 3-0 victory with another 3-0 victory. The 2 ahead against Bristol City at the moment. In comes the throw from Furlong. Headed away not too far. Taylor rises edge of the area. Now this one is belted long up over the halfway line. Matasiwa watches the bounce. Kept his eye on the ball. Earthy went towards it. Didn't make anything of it. Taylor tidies up. Goes all the way back to Walton.
No, it's good when you think that big clearance, and we've all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jack Clark, 6 blue shirts back very, very quickly. So that's good when you're 2-0 in front.
Ball out cheaply, far side throw into Bristol City, who of course would liven up no end if they could somehow get the scoreline to 2-1 anytime soon, but at the moment
I'd rather have a comfortable little sit down here, really.
Yeah, Young coming on for Ipswich Town, back from his duties sitting on the Sky Sports sofa on Sunday afternoon, watching a couple of his former clubs. Aston Villa against Everton on punditry duty. He was about to come on for the remainder of this game, and he'll be replacing Jack Clark, so no hat-trick for him. That's a bit of a shame, because Kieran has to guard against him pulling up as the game ends. So hey, he needs him on Saturday at Sheffield United. Off comes Clark to a standing ovation. Town's man of the match. There's 2 goals at the moment, looking to have won this match. Handshake from Kieran McKenna as he sits down on the bench.
Good game.
Yeah, he's done well. He's played well. So Young is on in midfield by the looks of things. Kipre up towards Smodix. Smodix miscontrols the ball, might have won it back though. He loses it. Bristol City have it with Mehmeti. Taylor goes after him, then Roberts. Roberts almost lost it. Taylor's after him. Roberts has to go back to Dickey. Dickey stabs it towards Morsey. Morsey goes in on Matasiwa, who beats him. Taylor's on the ball for Ipswich Town. Taylor out to the left for Smodix. It will hold up. Had a bit of fade on it, that pass. Smodix wide left. Back towards Young. There is Leif Davis. Young to Kipre. 6 minutes to play. Looked like being a good 50-50 Matasiwa against Morsey a few moments ago. Here is Morsey with the ball on his chest. Takes it down, brings it to Mehmeti. Mehmeti stands, tries a little trick against Furlong. 2-0 Ipswich. Jack Clark with both goals live on BBC Radio Suffolk. 5 minutes of normal time to play. There is Sam Morsey, his return to Portman Road, a defeat as things stand. Dickey through a little gap to halfway, and Randall. Now it's with Twine. Twine finds Tanner. Bristol City on the halfway line. Now with Morsey. Town have got all 10 blue shirts behind the ball. Bristol City broke between the lines momentarily, but now again Town have got themselves back in their defensive positions. Morsey gives it to Randall. Randall then finds Tanner. Player booked for that clumsy tackle on Clark. Good ball forward by the captain, Dickey. He finds Mehmeti. Mehmeti just leaves the ball behind. Young floats it up towards Hurst. Hurst with a header down, looking for Smodix. Intercepted well, importantly, by Tanner. Dickey then gets it through a gap to Morsey. Morsey gives it to Randall forward to Mehmeti. Armstrong wants it in behind. Mehmeti hasn't seen him, and he's gone through the legs of a Town player and run into Kipre. He's ended up at the deck. Mehmeti, no free kick. Walton picks the ball up in front of Armstrong. So the wind picks up at Portman Road. Quite a chilly night. At least the scoreline's warming our cockles as Taylor plays it to Matusiwa. Matusiwa towards McAteer, upended by Randall, who gets a yellow card, understandably so. Correct decision from the referee. Knew what he was doing, Adam Randall.
Yeah, he was away. I mean, he was away from his player and he's been brought down. So, yeah, it's a yellow card. It's a silly one, but it's a yellow card.
McAteer's the next one that we all want to score. We've seen the Burns goal at Coventry. Smodix got off the mark for the season against Blackburn. I think we'd all love to see Casey McAteer get a goal for Ipswich Town. Has had chances. There's one game, I can't remember, it was the Sheffield Wednesday game before Christmas, where his teammates were almost lining up to offer him opportunities. Didn't take any of them. Hopefully it'll come at some point in the near future. Kipre gets the ball forward, looking for Hurst, intercepted by Dickey. Morsey gives it short to Randall. Final 3 minutes. Bristol City down the right hand side with Earthy. Not too many targets in the middle as the blue shirts come back. Here is Earthy, finds Twine. Twine crosses the ball towards Armstrong in the middle, wrestling for it. 3 players go down. O'Shea plus a couple of hours. Armstrong dude on O'Shea. Furlong's really annoyed with Sinclair Armstrong. This could be a big decision for the referee to make. The crowd obviously wants him sent off. There was a nasty reaction in there to suggest that Armstrong had done something a bit naughty. Thankfully O'Shea's up on his feet now. Furlong was furious. He's got to calm himself down a little bit because he's on a yellow card. Walton, O'Shea and Furlong all no doubt suggesting to the referee that Sinclair Armstrong did something for which he should be penalised. Haven't seen a replay of it just yet. He's going to have a word now with Armstrong, the referee. Just a yellow card. Interesting. Haven't seen it again. We will do now. Let's have a little look at this one. There's a wrestle between the two of them. No, didn't quite see the replay. The camera had moved away from that incident.
Out of all that, the most interesting thing was the Ashley Young, Sam Morsey verbals. They were sort of facing each other, and it was a question of who could shout the loudest, I think.
It's a free kick that Walton is going to be taken. Final minute of this game, which has rather fizzled out for a little while now, really. Since the second goal, took the wind right out of the sails of Bristol City. Dickey's header goes beyond Matusiwa. Furlong nods it forward. Dickey has stayed down for Bristol City. They've used all 5 of their subs. He's now getting back up to his feet belatedly. Roberts at the back finds Tanner. 0800 141 2121. To have your say on this game, text 81333. Start those messages. SFK WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Also put SFK at the start of those. Town head to Sheffield United on Saturday. It'd be nice to see Alex Matthew for the first time in a little while. Jack Clark, no surprise, he's been awarded man of the match here tonight. 10 goals for the season.
It's a difficult decision.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? None of us saw that coming. There is Morsey. Hopefully we'll hear from Jack post-match. Town 6 minutes, so that's a bit of a shame. Goodness gracious me, that's a real disappointment. 6 minutes to go, unless we see something really special.
Yeah, the contest has gone, hasn't it?
Totally, yeah, it really has. Good atmosphere inside Portman Road. Very happy with what they're seeing from their team, and so they really should be. 6 successive home wins in the league, 7 in total. Be an 8th win in 10 in all competitions. 2 defeats in 18 for Ipswich Town, who are up to 2nd in the championship table. Life isn't as bad as some people recently might make you believe. Here is Twine, back towards Randall, given away. Leif Davis on the centre spot for Ipswich Town, up towards Hurst. Hurst rather knees it on, but he's caught late. The referee says play on. George in a little bit of pain. Earthy for Bristol City, down the right-hand side for Twine. Twine with an early ball into the box. No one there, not quickly enough. Furlong takes it on his chest against Mehmeti, and then slices his attempted clearance. Bristol City have a throw-in midway inside the Ipswich Town half. There is Morsey for the visitors. Back on the halfway line, Dickey. Roberts towards Tanner. 90 seconds into the added-on 6 minutes. I thought the fact that it was 6 would have given a little bit of generated a bit of enthusiasm for Bristol City. They might be able to get something back in that time. Yet to really see it. There's O'Shea against Armstrong. O'Shea's clearance goes up to Hurst. Nice little nod down from Hurst. Taylor with the switch of play. It's excellent. Straight to Smodix. Lots of work to be done. Still a fair number of white shirts in the way. Smodix gives it back to Taylor. Taylor with a touch back to Matusiwa. Matusiwa finds Smodix out to the right-hand side. McAteer. It's a good play from Town, and it comes from McAteer. Not enough elevation on the cross. Young gets onto it for Ipswich Town. Looks up, plays it to Taylor. Nice one too. Young into the middle, all the way across the face of goal. That was excellent play from Ashley Young. Touched out by Vitek for a corner.
Yeah, it's a lovely 1-2, but I'm not sure whether it was a shot or not, because it seemed lacked a lot of pace to really sort of go past the goalkeeper. But anyway, he's done well. He's got his team a corner kick. So
Young gets a round of applause from the north stand as he goes to get the ball for Leif Davis, although actually Davis is letting him take the corner. We're at the midway point of the added-on 6 minutes at the end of this championship match, which pretty much died as a contest when Town went 2-0 up. Now in for a third goal. Young hangs it in towards the goal line, caught by Vitek. Vitek runs to the edge of the penalty area. Can't distribute quickly, holds on to it, and then clouts the ball high up over the halfway line towards Armstrong against O'Shea. O'Shea wins the header. Randall controls it on the halfway line to his left-hand side, Pring. There is Mehmeti. Mehmeti comes in field up against Darnell Furlong. Trying to keep the hold of this clean sheet. Morsey in an advanced position. He's played the majority of the game. Morsey's back on the ball. In comes his cross into the Ipswich Town area, looking for Earthy. Earthy can't do anything with it, and the ball goes down the tunnel, as the players will do themselves in less than 3 minutes now.
Yeah, I think the only thing Earthy could really realistically do was put his head on the ball and just drop it back into the penalty area there. You know, trying to sort of take the ball down with his foot, you know, is impossible.
Walton bounces the ball up and down on the edge of his 6-yard area, off to our right-hand side. Getting ready with this goal kick off the floor. Still a fair number of people here watching on right till the end of this game. Walton kicks it up to Taylor. Taylor with a glancing header on, controlled by Roberts to Morsey in midfield. Seen a fair bit of the ball, Sam, as you would expect. Dickey in the D off to our left, to Morsey, closed down by Taylor. Ball's rolled into midfield for Bristol City. Morsey is back on it, trying to hold off McAteer. Then Young goes towards him. Free kick for the foul on Morsey. 95 minutes played, so into the final minute of the added-on 6. There is Mehmeti trying to get the ball returned to him by Rob Atkinson. Atkinson throws the ball back towards Roberts. Now Morsey came on for Viner in the first half. Dickey up towards Earthy. Earthy moves it onto the edge of the area. Pring goes square just inside the box, cleared away by Smodix up towards Roberts on the halfway line. Town about 15 seconds away from another clean sheet victory. The referee puts his whistle to his lips and confirms that Ipswich Town have won 6 consecutive home league games and moved up to second place in the championship table whilst continuing their perfect start to 2026. It's 4 wins out of 4 for Kieran McKenna's side, the latest a 2-0 victory over Bristol City.
Yeah, and it's just, as you say, it's continued the good form, you know, the move towards the top part of the table. You know, we're in good form, we're winning the majority of the games, and it's nice to go into the new year like that, you know. So really everything's in front of us. We've got to just be very, very positive from now to the end of the season. We've got a squad in place. I don't think there's any need for any changes in this window. If there is a real surprise one out there, then fine, but we've got an abundance of players, really. All look to be in good form, all look as if they can go into the team and do a job, you know, and the prime example really is Philogene and Jack Clark. You know, Philogene has been one of the outstanding players of the season so far. Loads and loads of goals from the left-hand sided position. He's not available tonight. Jack Clark comes in and just carries on. You know, it's almost as if we never had Jayden Philogene. You know, he just steps in. He has a different type of game, but he has a game that is just as effective. You know, he can score goals, he can create goals, he can run the ball, he can keep possession. You know, they are similar in a way, but not the same. But they can both do a job. So, no, it's really good. It's a good result. There was only that one spell for me. I thought that we did well to get in front and to get in front early. I think that really does help any team. It settles your nerves. It gives you confidence. It gives you a bit of, you know, nerve, if you like, to take a little bit of a risk occasionally, you know. But it was just the period, just after half-time. I thought Bristol actually had taken charge of the game and they looked quite threatening, and I thought that you know, it was going to be a difficult match, you know, right the way through to the end. But the second goal was the killer. It not only pretty much sealed the result for us, but it absolutely dented Bristol City's enthusiasm for the night, for the game. And all really they showed no desire whatsoever to chase the game or chase the result from that moment onwards. It was almost as if they had said to themselves, we can't play any better than this opening period to the second half, and we've gone further behind. No, it's not our night, and they just sat off it, and it really looked as if we might get ourselves a 3-0 victory, but we certainly weren't going to lose this one at all. You know, the 2-0, we had complete control of it, and it's just put us into this wonderful position at the very, very close to the top of the table.
Really nice ovation for Sam Morsey, having gone across to obviously thank the Bristol City fans for travelling this distance on a Tuesday night. He sort of arced his run off the pitch to midway inside the half, off to our right-hand side, as the vast majority still inside Portman Road, the Ipswich Town supporters gave him a really warm send-off, and he applauded back to them. There was quite some roar as he eventually went down the tunnel, potentially, I guess, for the final time at Portman Road, the final end of an era. Thankfully, tonight he had his moment, but his side has been beaten. Ipswich Town have beaten Bristol City by 2-0. Jack Clark with both. Kieran McKenna certainly will be on the way before 10:30 and will hopefully catch up with a goal scorer as well.